Okay, I'm working on my Fibonacci scarf, and I am on the part where I'm adding, I've gone from 34 rows of black, 1 row red, 21 black, 1 red, 13 black, 2 red, and now 8 black and 5 red. So I just wanted to show how I, sorry, the lighting's not that great, how I add the new row, the red color. So first, normally I've been slipping the first stitch. In my pattern, I would normally knit the first and the last stitch of each row, but I actually found that the scarf looks better if I just slip the first stitch, so it's actually slip as to knit. And because I'm changing colors, I'm not going to slip this black stitch onto my next row. I'm just going to go ahead and knit the red stitch. Now, this is actually on the right side of the pattern. You know, it's the right side of the pattern because your stitches look like little V's. The wrong side of the pattern, your stitches, especially when you change the color, since I'm doing it in ribbing, you can't see it for the normal rows. It just looks like the knit purl ribbing. But when I add the color, the new row, I always do it either all knit or all purl. If I were adding this row on the wrong side, I would do all purl. But if I look at my other rows, I see I'm adding it on the right side of the work, so I'm going to do it all knit. Alright. My needles are mismatched. And I've adapted this pattern, so we just knit every stitch in a row. The original pattern I've seen for this called for circular needles, and I didn't have any. So I am using straight needles, and I've played with the pattern enough that now I have adopted it for straight needles. There, I made a mistake. So I just put that stitch right back up on there. One of these days I'll have my camera set up a little bit better to show you, but I figured it was way easier to explain it than to try to show you, rather than to try to write it all down. And doing this on these bigger needles, I'm using size 11 needles, which are 8 millimeter. Doing it on these always, it makes it knit up much faster. Okay, so now I'm down to the last 4 stitches in a row, and in every row, the last 3 to 4 stitches, I always pull them a little more, they're a little looser. And the first few stitches, I do them a little tighter. And that, because when you're knitting, the yarn does tend to pull, so that helps with the pull. So I just pull it up just a little bit after I do the stitch. And then the last stitch I knit normally. Okay, so there it is. And then I'll show you the wrong side. You can tell it's the wrong side because you see this extra little red on the other side. You only see the one piece of red. It's not interrupted by the black at all. I messed up again. Of course, when I'm recording it is when I mess it up. Okay, let me just knit that again. Maybe next time I'll have somebody hold the camera for me. Okay, so I'm back on the other side. And the thing about this is that you're only doing the all knit in your first row of the new color. Now, when you get to the next row of it, you do the normal pattern. So that means I would slip this first stitch or knit it, whichever you prefer. And then these I would purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and so forth. And you can see we even do this when we change back to the black. But the thing is that it's still, when you look at the right side of the fabric, you can't really even tell that all the stitches are knitted. It just fits right in with the pattern. So that's the good thing about doing that. And also, if you'll see, I have, instead of cutting the yarn out, which for this pattern, if this had been not the first time I was doing this, I would not pull the yarn up through for each new row. I would have just gone ahead and cut it after this first row of red, and then cut it here. I may have pulled it up once we got to more red than black, but I didn't want to cut it because I kept messing up, and I didn't want to have to buy new yarn. Okay. Next, I'm going to go back to the pattern, and where I am going to knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, etc. And also, when I'm done with these, I will be on the 5 rows of the red in the Fibonacci sequence. And when I'm done with these 5 rows of the red, my first row of black, if it's on, let's see, it's going to be on the right side of the work, so because it'll be an even row. So I will go ahead and knit all the stitches of the black for the first row, and then go back on through the pattern.